Shot 4, Mini Village Dove. When it comes to great conceptual photographs, what works well for me is a bit like property. It's all about location, location, location. With a little bit of research, you can find some fantastic places to shoot, which aren't on any of the location houses. And because they're outside of London or outside of the metropolitan areas, people are prepared to let you use the locations for not a huge amount of money. Now, I found this miniature village in the Lake District, and this guy had spent the past 20 years building these fabulous miniature houses. Now, I figured that this location would be great for putting in a very large Alice in with the very small houses. It's a bit like the moment in Alice Through the Looking Glass when she drank the potion which made her bigger. So, made a phone call, fixed the location. Now, as we say, when we plan things, certain things go the way we want them to, and then you get a little bit of magic. The magic on this occasion was the doves. Or should I say, one dove in particular. It's the dove here. Now, this dove had a broken wing. So I moved this dove from here to here and then quite simply cloned it in. So that's the two doves taken care of in the foreground. What about the three doves flying overhead? Now, they're nearly without Photoshop. Not quite. As you can see from this raw image, I've cut part of this dove off. It just went out of frame. So I had to do a little bit of rebuilding. But how did I get the doves flying? Well, I mentioned we had to use Photoshop on one of them, but the other two are nearly perfect. It's a bit of a trick, actually. I got my assistant Justin to go along to the dove cot and quite simply tap the background. And the doves flew out because they didn't know what the noise was. And I captured them just when they flew out. So that's doves on a plate for you. Let's have a look at the lighting. Now, the key light, once again, was an Elinchron Ranger using my favourite modifier, the Chimera Medium Softbox. Coming in, a little bit over to the side here, and that gives us the key light. And we're getting this lovely dark area on the right-hand side of her face, well, her left, our right. Now, the backlight, this is quite interesting because the backlight is actually overexposing by 2/3 of a stop. So we're getting this little highlight on our cheek. So the background light is 2/3 above the key light. So that's spilling onto the background and spilling onto her cheek. Now, we could actually have got away with two lights, but for good measure, I put a third light pointing way off into the background, and it's picking up this area over here. When you put lights far off into the distance, you get a great feeling of depth and perspective. Another point about this picture is the camera's very low down. By shooting very low down, we were shooting with a Hasselblad H1 with a Phase 1 P25 and the Hasselblad 35mm lens. So we're shooting up and we're shooting at a 60th of a second at f8. So I'm underexposing the background by about a stop. Rated at 100 ISO again, so I'm getting optimum quality. High ISO is all the rage at the moment, and it is fantastic and flexible, but let's not forget just how good low ISO quality is. It is fantastic. So if you've got into shooting all these zillion ISO pictures, try some where you're shooting at a lower ISO. You'll be amazed by the quality. This is quite a difficult shot because what I was trying to get Anna, the model, to do was to move through the village with a sense of startled wonderment. And that's the emotion that I really tried to get through to her. So you can see in all these other raw images we've got how we got to the final image. Some of them don't work very well, and in fact, this image for me is the clear winner. Now, we all have a tendency to overuse wide-angle lenses, and to be honest, not a lot of my photographs use wide-angle lenses. But on this occasion, the low viewpoint coupled with a Hasselblad 35mm lens gives this fantastic perspective where Anna seems to tower over these really tiny houses. It was just the job. So in synopsis, this picture was planned for, but we didn't plan for the doves. Making the most of these opportunities when they come your way, it's very, very important. But make sure you don't blow all of your time by setting off on a picture that isn't going to work. I was pretty certain that the doves were going to work. Note again, the low perspective point, once again with the water soaking right the way through to my underclothes. You've got to be able and willing to get down and dirty with your photographs to get the absolute best image. You can soon warm up and dry. Don't be afraid of really getting stuck in there. And then telling the model how she should feel and how she should express herself, and not being afraid to make her do it repeatedly, but of course in a polite, good, communicative way. If you've enjoyed this and you want to know more about this series and some of my other pictures, why not check out some of my other videos in this series? I hope you find them really useful. Thanks for watching.